Has the Chinese Communist Party bit off more than they can chew? The CCP appears to be fighting battles on more and more fronts every day, and their attempts to rein in the chaos is only making things worse for them. Their new national security law and how it is being applied to the Hong Kong people has had disastrous effects. Hong Kong, once a bustling center for commerce and ingenuity, a jewel on the world stage, practically overnight shed its preferential status after the implementation of the new national security law. The Sino-British Joint Declaration was clear. As long as Hong Kong was afforded a reasonable level of autonomy, Hong Kong would be treated differently than mainland China. It's no surprise that nations across the world are ditching extradition laws and preferential financial treatment with Hong Kong. Hong Kong was an invaluable financial and cultural bridge to much of the Western world for China. The CCP blew up that bridge with a law so broad and poorly written that it criminalizes anyone on the planet who speaks contrary to the CCP's agenda. I, producing this video, am in violation of the national security law, and frankly, I'm okay with that. Why was the CCP willing to sacrifice so much? I suspect fear. They fear democratic principles will spread to the mainland, threatening their hold on the people there and thus their power. Hong Kong's autonomy was treated like a cancer and was eradicated. During normal times, this alone would have been enough to threaten the CCP's power, but these are far from normal times. The trade war with the US, initiated by the Trump administration, must be having a significant impact on China's economy, and it's relentless. Hundreds of billions of dollars worth of tariffs is nothing to balk at. At first, China was able to respond to Trump's tariffs in a tit-for-tat manner, but their ability to retaliate was quickly exhausted. There are no signs that the Trump administration will lift any of the tariffs on Chinese exports. In fact, I would not be surprised that should Trump win re-election in November, that he'll double down in an attempt to bring even more manufacturing jobs back to U.S. soil. He wants to be the jobs president, and bringing home manufacturing jobs appears to be one of his top priorities. It doesn't stop there, though. The CCP is openly bullying anyone who gets in their way, and is exposing their weaknesses. When the Australian government called for a joint inquiry into the origins of COVID-19, the CCP was quick to retaliate by exerting economic pressure on Australia by instigating a trade war with them. What do they have to hide? Those are the actions of an administration that is fearful of their culpability being exposed. I understand that's speculation, but where there's smoke, there's fire, and it's hard to interpret the CCP's retaliation any other way. They have picked a fight with Canada by detaining two Canadians, Michael Korvig and Michael Spavor, on bogus charges of espionage in a misguided attempt to secure the release of Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou, who was lounging in a British Columbia mansion while the Canadian courts determined whether they should extradite her to the U.S. The CCP tried to bait Canada into engaging in hostage diplomacy, but it didn't work. The CCP's attempt to influence Canada's independent court system was doomed to fail from the onset. Canada stood up and said no, and is allowing their legal process to unfold. As a Canadian, I say let our Michaels go. Huawei, a Chinese state-owned company, was once positioned to be a key player in the world's 5G implementation, but has lost that opportunity due to the CCP's inability to negotiate in good faith. Robert O'Brien, the U.S. National Security Advisor, is meeting his counterparts all across Europe, advocating for them to eliminate Huawei from their 5G aspirations. I am convinced that O'Brien will be successful. China's attempts to spread their technocratic dystopia appear to have been stymied, and that's good news for all of us. The CCP's disastrous and incompetent foreign policy is not their only problem. China is being rocked by several internal disasters. The floods in southern China are not letting up. This unmitigated disaster must be applying significant pressure on the ruling party. If floods in the south were bad, droughts in the west may turn out to be worse. There are legitimate concerns that China will be facing a food shortage, and international relief will be in short supply due to their bullying on the world stage. Xi Jinping appears to be hiding, cowering under the pressure of so many disasters. The actions witnessed in China today are not only the actions of tyrants, but of incompetent tyrants. The Chinese people deserve much better. In addition to this, their organ harvesting, persecution of Falun Gong practitioners, their genocidal approach to the Uyghur people, their boot to the neck of their own citizens, and their wealth funneling to a select few close to the party is no longer happening undercover, but in full view on the world stage, and the world is not going to stand for it. This is not even a total summation of all the challenges the CCP are facing. My prediction? Like a cornered and frightened animal, the CCP will lash out with more violence and attempt to exert their influence and tighten their grip on the people they are attempting to control. But it looks like this time those people will slip through their fingers. The world is waking up to the CCP's evil, and a new global reordering is all but guaranteed. After 70 years of these tyrants, it appears we may be approaching a time of real change. Thank you for listening. If you like my work, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. And remember, love is the answer, whatever that means.